Hello, Swatantra TV viewers. I am Mahima, welcoming you to our English bulletin with latest news, updates, and analysis. TDP Supremo N. Chandrababu Naidu was sworn in as the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh for the fourth term on Wednesday at a ceremony that was attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, senior BJP leaders, and union ministers. Jana Sena Chief and actor Pawan Kalyan took oath as Deputy Chief Minister. Nara Lokesh, son of Naidu, among others, took oath as ministers. Andhra Pradesh Governor S. Abdul Nazir administered the oath to Naidu and others. Prime Minister Modi hugged and patted Chandrababu Naidu on him assuming office. Later, the Prime Minister held the hands of Telugu megastar Chiranjeevi and Pawan Kalyan and fondly spoke to them and also had a brief conversation with former Tamil Nadu Chief Minister O. Pannirselvam, Tamil superstar Rajinikanth and his wife Lata on the days. Naidu retained his Kuppam constituency while Pawan Kalyan and Lokesh won from Pithapuram and Mangalgiri assembly segments in the recently held polls. Union Ministers Amit Shah, Nitin Gadkari and JP Nadda, Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde were present. Former Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and superstars Rajinikanth and Chiranjeevi also took part. TDP legislators K. Achannadu, P. Narayana, Kollu Ravindra, Nimmal Rama Naidu, Anitha Vanglapudi, Anam Ramnarayana Reddy, Kolusu Parth Sarathi, NMD Farooq, Payyavula Keshav, Astaya Prasad, Dola Shri Bala Viranjanaya Swami, Gotipti Ravi Kumar, Gummidi Sandhya Rani, BC Janardhana Reddy, TG Bharat, S. Savita, Vazamseti Subhash, Kondapalli Srinivas and Mandipalli Ram Prasad Reddy also took oath. From Jana Sena Party, Nadendra Manohar and Kandula Durgesh, while BJP legislator Satya Kumar Yadav took oath as ministers along with Pawan Kalyan. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi, who won the Wayanad Lok Sabha seat by huge margin for a second consecutive time, held a road show in this North Kerala district on Wednesday. This is Gandhi's first visit to the state after the Lok Sabha poll results. Thousands of UDF workers and supporters gathered along the route of the road show at Advan, which is part of Wayanad LS seat. Earlier, he was given a rousing welcome at Kozhikode airport by party leaders and workers. Meanwhile, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi, who won from Wayand and Rai Bareli Lok Sabha seats in the 2024 general elections, said on Wednesday that he was in a dilemma as to which constituency he should relinquish. Gandhi said that whatever decision he will take, both constituencies will be happy with it. He thanked the people of Wayanad for electing him for a second term in Lok Sabha. A video showing Union Home Minister Amit Shah making an angry gesture at former Telangana Governor Tamilisai Soundararajan in public went viral on Wednesday. The incident happened during N. Chandrababu Naidu's swearing-in ceremony in Andhra Pradesh. The video clearly showed that Soundararajan approaching Amit Shah on the stage and greeting him. Amit Shah then made an angry gesture at her and told her something sternly caught the attention of those on the dais. Former Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu was sitting next to Amit Shah on the dais. It sparked speculation that Amit Shah could have issued a warning to Soundararajan for her recent comments on the sorry state of affairs in the Tamil Nadu unit of the BJP. She reportedly said that antisocial elements infiltrated the party. The Criminal Investigation Department has issued a notice to senior BJP leader and former Karnataka Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa to appear before its probe team for an inquiry in connection with a case registered against him under protection of children from sexual offence, police sources said on Wednesday. Yediyurappa is presently in Delhi, and he is likely to join the probe after he returns, sources close to him said. According to police, Yediyurappa has been booked under the Protection of Children from Sexual Offence Act and section based on a complaint by the mother of a 17-year-old girl who alleged that he sexually assaulted her daughter during a meeting on February to this year. On 14th March, hours after the Sadashivnagar police registered the case, the Karnataka Director General of Police Alok Mohan issued an order transferring it to the CID for further investigation with immediate effect. The 54-year-old woman, who had levelled the charge against Yediyurappa, died at a private hospital here last month due to lung cancer. The 81-year-old Yediyurappa has denied the charge and said he would fight the case legally. The CID has already recorded the statement of the victim and her mother under ousted from power in Andhra Pradesh. The YSR Congress on Wednesday sent out a cautionary reminder to the BJP that the central government will need the support of its 11 MPs in Rajya Sabha to pass bills while attacking the ruling party's allies, TDP and Jana Sena Party, for targeting its sympathizers in Andhra Pradesh. Speaking to reporters here, senior YSR Congress leaders flayed the Telugu Desam Party and the Jana Sena for allegedly unleashing violence on their party's supporters following the defeat of the Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy-led party in the assembly polls. They complained to President Draupadi Murmu on Wednesday over the issue and sought her intervention to bring the guilty to the book. The leader of the YSR Congress in Parliament, V. Vijayasai Reddy, noted that his party may have lost power in Andhra Pradesh but it continues to have a total of 15 MPs in the both houses against the TDP's 16. The YSR Congress has 11 MPs in Rajya Sabha where the BJP National Democratic Alliance does not have a majority and has often depended on unaligned regional parties like it and the Biju Janata Dal to push its parliamentary agenda. To a question about the regional party's stand on the BJP's key agenda items like the Uniform Civil Code and One Nation, One Election, he said its president and former Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy has already made it clear that it is opposed to the Uniform Civil Code.
వారం రోజులుగా తెలుగుదేశం పార్టీ చేస్తున్నటువంటి దాడులు అత్యంత భయానకమైనటువంటి పరిస్థితులు ఆంధ్ర రాష్ట్రంలో నెలకొన్నటువంటి సంగతి ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి కూడా తెలుసు. దానికి పూర్తి భిన్నంగా వైఎస్ఆర్ కాంగ్రెస్ పార్టీ పైన కార్యకర్తలపైన నాయకులపైన చేస్తున్నటువంటి దాడుల్ని దాన్ని తిరిగి మేమేదో వాళ్లపైన దాడులు చేస్తున్నామన్నటువంటి విధంగా చిత్రీకరిస్తున్నటువంటి ఘనత ఒక్క చంద్రబాబు నాయుడికే దక్కుతుంది. ఈ రకంగా వక్రీకరించేటటువంటి బుద్ధి ఒక్క చంద్రబాబు నాయుడికి ఆయన పార్టీ నాయకులకు మాత్రమే ఉందన్నటువంటి విషయం అందరూ కూడా గమనిస్తూ ఉన్నారు. ఈరోజు చంద్రబాబు నాయుడు గారి పరిపాలన ఒక ఆటవిక పరిపాలన అన్నటువంటి విషయంగా మనం అభివర్ణించవచ్చు. తెలుగుదేశం పార్టీ నాయకులు కార్యకర్తలు మా కార్యకర్తలపైన చేస్తున్నటువంటి నాయకులపైన చేస్తున్నటువంటి దాడుల్ని మీకు చూపించడం జరుగుతుంది. చట్టం లేదు, స్వేచ్ఛ లేదు, న్యాయం లేదు, అన్యాయమే రాజ్యమేలుతుంది. ఈ ప్రమాణ స్వీకారానికి ముందే దీని మీరు అర్థం చేసుకోవచ్చు చంద్రబాబు నాయుడు పరిపాలన రాబోయేటటువంటి 5 సంవత్సరాల కాలంలో ఎలా ఉంటుంది.
Terrorist hold up in a border village in Jammu and Kashmir's Kathua district was killed by security forces on Wednesday in a more than 15-hour operation during which his partner was also shot dead and a CRPF Jawan lost his life, officials said. According to them, 2 senior officers escaped unhurt even as their vehicles were hit by bullets during the operation that began on Tuesday night after 2 terrorists were spotted in Seda Sukhal village. In Doda district, 5 troopers of Rashtriya Rifles and a special police officer were injured when terrorists attacked the joint checkpost in the upper reaches of Chattergalla on the Bhaderwah Pathankot road late on Tuesday night. Traffic on the highway has been suspended as an operation is underway to track down the terrorists. The two incidents come just days after terrorists attacked the bus carrying pilgrims from the Shiv Khori temple to Katra, causing it to veer off the road and fall into a deep gorge. 9 people died and 41 were injured in the Sunday evening attack. Police have announced a 20 lakh rupees reward for information on the whereabouts of the terrorists involved in the attack on the bus and have also released the sketch of one of the terrorists. Authorities have claimed that attempts by Pakistan to disturb the peaceful atmosphere in Jammu and Kashmir were the reason for the spurt in terror activities in the Jammu region. Direct flight services to Ayodhya from Hyderabad within 2 months of its launch, citing demand issue. The Gurugram-based airline had started its 3 times a week non-stop flight services on the Hyderabad-Ayodhya route from early April this year. SpiceJet has discontinued its non-stop flight services to Ayodhya from Hyderabad from 1st June, a source at the GMR Group-operated Hyderabad International Airport said. The airline was operating these services thrice a week to the temple town from the Telangana capital. Flight schedule is driven solely by commercial considerations and demand, SpiceJet spokesperson said in a statement. It is, however, still operating the services to Chennai from Ayodhya, the spokesperson said. The Maharishi Valmiki International Airport in Ayodhya was inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on 30th December. Significantly, SpiceJet had operated a special flight to Ayodhya from the national capital on 21st January for flying people attending the consecration ceremony at the Ram Temple. On 31st January, it announced starting its flight services to Ayodhya from 8 cities including Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Ahmedabad, Jaipur, Bengaluru, Patna and Darbhanga from 1st February. Gold prices climbed 250 rupees to 72,200 rupees per 10 grams in the national capital on Wednesday amid strong global trends, according to HDFC Securities. In the previous session, the precious metal had closed at 71,950 rupees per 10 grams. Silver prices also bounced by 800 rupees to 91,500 rupees per kg. It had settled at 90,700 rupees per kg in the previous session. In the Delhi markets, spot gold prices 24 carats are trading at 72,200 rupees per 10 grams, up by 250 rupees from the previous close. In the international markets, spot gold at COMEX was trading at US $2,315 per ounce, up US $12 from the previous close. Silver also quoted marginally higher at US $29.35 per ounce. It had ended at US $29.20 per ounce in the previous session. Benchmark equity indices ended higher on Wednesday, with the Nifty hitting its fresh record closing level, mainly due to buying in power, capital goods and industrial stocks amid a largely positive trend in global equities. Besides, a heavy rush on select index heavyweight counters like HDFC Bank and Reliance Industries boosted investors' sentiment, traders said. In a highly volatile trade, the 30-share BSE Sensex climbed 149.98 points or 0.20% to settle at 76,606.57. During the day, it jumped 593.94 points or 0.77% to 77,050.53. The BSE benchmark is just 28.51 points away from reaching its previous lifetime peak of 77,079.04. The NSE Nifty went up by 177.1 points or 0.76% to hit its new all-time intraday high of 23,441.95. It ended at a new closing peak of 23,322.95, up 58.10 points or 0.25%. Power Grid was the biggest gainer on the Sensex chart, rising 2.54%, followed by Tech Mahindra, Bajaj Finance, NTPC, Ultratech Cement, Larsen & Toubro, Tata Steel, Bharti Airtel, Bajaj Finserv and HCL Technologies. In contrast, Mahindra & Mahindra, Hindustan Unilever, Infosys and Titan were among the laggards. Foreign institutional investors offloaded equities worth 111.04 crore rupees on Tuesday, according to exchange data. The Supreme Court is scheduled to hear on Thursday as many as 3 petitions, including the one filed by Chief Executive of EdTech firm, PhysicsWallah, pertaining to the controversy-ridden NEET-UG 2024 for admission to MBBS, BDS and others courses. Alak Pandey, the chief executive of the EdTech firm, has moved the top court against alleged random award of grace marks by the National Testing Agency to over 1,500 candidates. The top court has also listed for hearing the 2 pleas filed by Abdullah Mohammad Faiz and Zaripati Karthik separately. The examination was held by the NTA on 5th May across 4,750 centers and around 24 lakh candidates took it. The results were expected to be declared on 14th June but were announced on 4th June, apparently because the evaluation of the answer sheets got completed earlier. As many as 67 students scored a perfect 720, unprecedented in NTA's history, with 6 from a centre in Haryana's Faridabad figuring in the list, raising suspicions about irregularities. Scores of students protested in Delhi on 10th June seeking a probe into alleged irregularities. It has been alleged that grace marks contributed to 67 students sharing the top rank. Thank you for watching Swatantra TV English Bulletin. For a complete and comprehensive English news bulletin, please do watch Swatantra TV. This is Mahima, signing off. Keep watching Swatantra TV.